All right then, guys, so feel free to look through your packs as we go through. Like I say, the presentation will give you a little bit of information as well. All we're going to go over today is some tips to success. Going to do a little bit on goal setting as well, so we can do that kind of as a group or as an individual. Learning some of the foundations, so learning about proteins, fats and carbs, the effect, how it's going to look in your diet as well as stuff like the plate method. Then we'll have a look at the meal plan. There's a couple of meal plans already printed out. You lot will get your meal plan attached to your app by tomorrow morning. So for those that have got the app and gone through that process, you'll just download the Healthy Steps Nutrition app. You'll get an invite by email if you haven't already. That'll create your account. Once you've created your account, then you'll go in your dashboard. It's pretty simple once you're in there. The only thing that you'll need to do is once you're in your account is also download and sync up with MyFitnessPal. If you just go to the more, the three dots or the options on more it is, then it'll say sync with additional apps. You can sync it with a Fitbit as well if you wanted to, and then you can sync it with MyFitnessPal. Yeah. And then obviously come tomorrow morning, your diet plan will get attached to that. So when you go in, there'll be a little dashboard at the bottom, it'll say plans. Click on that and it'll just open up a PDF. You can do that on the computer as well. So if you go on the Trainerize website is the best one to use. If you go on the Trainerize, spelt with a Z, not an S. If you go on that website, you'll be able to log in and that'll give you a more comprehensive, like you say, desktop one. And then if you wanted to then print out your meal plan, you've got it printed out there. If not, you'll have it on your phone. You can download it to your phone and however you want to distribute it from there. You can go from there. So we'll have a look at that. Like I say, we've got them two floating about. So we'll go over them and how you can interpret them and how I would do best practice with it. It might be a little bit different for yourself how you do it. Everyone's going to run it differently. Then next steps. So what's next for yourself and what's going to happen over the 4 weeks. And then a little bit on obviously picking the winner. The picking the winner thing is not going to be necessarily on the person who loses the most weight. That's going to be absolutely fantastic, but we want people contributing to the group. We want people sharing it, screaming and shouting it from the rooftops, and just enjoying the process as well. So not necessarily the guy who's going to lose the most weight, but the people who are just enjoying it and get stuck into it and have that progress. And weekly prizes, there you go as well. So the main focus then over the next 28 days is for yourself to be constantly eating every 2 to 3 hours. Now, don't worry, some people have looked at me already. We say constantly eating 2 to 3 hours just to keep our blood sugar levels at the right level. If we start to dip, that's when we start to get them cravings. That's when we need to replace our blood sugar levels and we instantly then go to sugar to replace them. The way we're going to do that is by having set snacks and working out how they're going to fit around you. So having stuff prepared and ready on the go as well as with you to go through that. And then we come on to obviously, like say, the snacks. So the snacks, we're not just going to have one type of macro or one type of food group. We want your snacks to be balanced. So like they're a mini meal. What we tend to find if people snack is a snack on one thing. So they'll only have biscuits to snack on. Even if it's healthy, they might only snack on fruit. What we tend to find then is you're missing out on carbs and proteins and the stuff that you need that's going to fill you up and carry you forward. So if we're having a snack, you'll see by the template meal plan it includes a bit of protein, a little bit of carbs and a little bit of fruit, because that's what's then going to saturate you and fill you back up and keep you going from there. Then drinking water. Yeah, you would start smiling. Water is the biggest thing. We're going to aim for around about 2 litres per day. Now, if you think if you wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and you go to bed at 10 o'clock at night, that's not a litre before 12. You could technically drink your first litre before 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then you've still got 7 hours before bed. A lot of people get caught up with, I've got to drink 2 litres a day, I've got to do it during work time, you know? And that's what tends to happen, right? I've got to drink 2 litres a day, and they forget when they go home, they can drink water when you're at home. So what we tend to find is a lot of people will try and get your 2 litres between their 9 to 5, in which case you're probably getting quite a lot of water in a short amount of time. If you do, that's brilliant. But one way of trying to make sure you get your 2 litres per day is make sure when you get home at night, before and after training, that you're getting that water in as well. After that, 2 litres will seem easy. It won't seem like a lot at all. Then, like I say, drinking around your workout, but also eating around your workouts. So depending what time of day you work out, you want to be tutoring them and tailoring them snacks around that. So for those that are working out at 6 o'clock in the morning, it might be a case of picking snacks that are a lot lighter on your stomach and liquids. So eating before you come. We don't really want to be eating too many solids before we train at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's not going to be the best, and it's not that easy to digest at that time, but we'll go into that. Then have a look at eating out. So for those that do eat out quite a lot, it's not necessarily a bad thing, as long as we're tracking and we're aware of what we're doing. So as much as we've got that meal plan there, we don't want to limit you guys. If we limit you too much, you're just going to go off on one. You know what I mean? Like if you try and restrict someone too much, they're going to go all over. And that's why we've got that MyFitnessPal and we're going to go into tracking. So it just means if you're out for dinner, you've got that awareness to either track what you're eating, or if you actually put it in legitimately, you might be able to see how many you're overeating or undereating. You know what I mean? So by doing that tracking, we can keep on track, pretty much, and it allows us more flexibility, so we can tailor that in. And then focusing more on quality over quantity. So making sure we're having quality ingredients, good source protein, lean meats, fish, good veg, and a lot of good carbs. What we're going to see is, if you look at the diet plan, even just quickly look at it, you'll see how much vegetable is in the plan itself. So the amount of veggies that you consume is probably going to go up. There's just that one there, Gemma. It's just the one that Hassan's got. You can rip the front page off and then pass one back. Yeah. Yeah. So to begin with, we're going to do a little bit of goal setting. For those that have done goal setting before, you'll probably understand our SMART objectives. So specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time sensitive. So it just means that your goal should be well defined and clear to anyone. So not only should you understand it, but other people can. And it also answers the questions like who, what, where, and which, and your why, probably. So setting smaller goals for what you're trying to accomplish will make it a little bit easier. And then overall, set that big goal as well. There's nothing wrong with setting that big ambitious goal and then smaller steps towards to get there. So we're going to ask ourselves, how many, how much, and when will I want it for? The time's going to be easy. Your first goal is going to be that 28 days, what you want to achieve at the end of these 28 days. Going to write that down, be confident in it, and then prioritize it. So we're going to spend a little bit of time doing that now. So you'll all see, you should in the pack have a goal setting page. So we want to be setting goals that are going to motivate us and then writing down the why for that. So it's not necessarily has to be attached to begin with to numbers. It could just be an event that's coming up. It could just be wanting to feel better. It could be wanting to improve performance. Then as we go into the goal, that's when we start setting numbers. If we know 5 pounds will help us run better, then we can add that in. But we don't want to set losing 5 pounds as our main goal, because if we don't reach it, we might fail. However, if we set the main goal of, at the end of the 28 days, I want to be able to run a mile easier, and we lose 3 pounds, but we can still run a mile easier, then we still achieve that goal. So that's what we need to do. We need to be realistic with it. So we want to be able to get something that we can succeed with. We want to set ourselves up for success. No one wants to fail, and we don't want to set ourselves up for failing either, because we're going to be the hardest critics on ourselves. If we fail, it's just going to come back on us. And again, that's just going to snowball down. And then always have an action plan. So like I say, we've got that meal plan there. That is part of your action plan. But if you know you've got events coming up in 2-3 weeks, you can already start to put action plans in place for that. You know, if you know that you're spending a Friday night in 2 weeks' time going for a drink, you can action plan that by reducing your calories during the week, missing a couple of snacks, or so forth. So that's the type of thing. So always have that. And then, like I said, don't give up. So choose a time frame to accomplish your goal, and then just go for it. So hold yourself accountable. You've got all us as well. You'll have each other, so we'll all be in a big group, so everyone will be accountable. So if ever you're feeling a bit down or a bit crap, you can just send a message in. People will send a message back, and if you don't want to send a message to a group, you've got each one of us individually to help you along. Yvonne will be the one who'll keep you most accountable. You know what she's like. Most of you who've just started don't know what Yvonne's like. So a quick example for yourself. So by the end of the 28 days, I will lose 1% body fat and 4 pounds of body weight. So specific, measurable of data and a test. So the specific is the body fat and the body weight. We can test that, we can do that. Measurable, again, we've got that 1% and the 4 pounds, so we can measure that. Then attainable, that's up to yourself whether you think it's attainable. That's having that self-confidence to be able to do that. Realistic, that's where you would maybe ask the questions to myself, Ben, Yvonne or Dave. You know, some people, or even just a friend or family member who will give you an honest opinion. A lot of the times we'll put something down that we think's realistic, but actually when you ask someone else, they might just give you that little nudge to say it might be a little bit too much, or it might just be a little bit too little. A lot of times we might be underselling ourselves, undervaluing ourselves. And then time sensitive, so obviously during the time of the course. So you've got them books now. We'll spend 5 minutes now just doing that. If you just want to do one, and then myself, Ben and Yvonne and Dave can go around and we can help each other out or ask the person next to you. If we set one, and then we can maybe set one at home. If we wanted to set a more private one, we can do it that way. Or we can get them both done now and get them in. So we'll crack on with that. If you're looking for attainable body weight loss, you can probably lose, the minimum they say is £1, but I think that's underselling yourself. So you're talking, yeah, that's what they say is kind of like the healthy thing to lose, but that's for more leaner individuals. You're probably aiming 1.5 to 2.2 pounds. So you're looking maybe a kilo a week is achievable. So in 28 days, you're probably looking for maybe a minimum of 4 kilos. I wouldn't be surprised if you could lose 4 kilos in the first week and then snowball on from there. The first week's always your biggest loss because it's the change in diet. Your water weight reduces. If you've had very high salty diets before, it all cleans out. So if you're looking for more like attainable weight, a goal target weight, I'd say maybe 3 kilos is realistic. Anything above that is then going to be a plus. Body fat's a little bit in and out and a little bit different. So for myself, I weighed 80 kilos this morning. My target's going to be 77 kilos. I need to do all my body fats and that tomorrow. But that's going to be my primary thing, so I'll probably look to come down maybe 1 or 2% body fat. If that, I don't want to lose a drastic amount of weight. So if I get down to 77 kilos, I'll probably then balance off and leave it there. That's just my understanding of my body. So that's how I do that. Yeah. So I know I can go down to 76, 77 kilos, still keep the good, decent performance levels, and then still look healthy. If I drop any further than that, then it gets a little bit rough.
You don't need any help setting
2% body fat in 28 days achievable?
Yeah, absolutely. Just copy me. Just making it a competition.
yours is like probably like a kilogram a week.
Yeah, so probably less than that. Probably slightly under, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's always good to set a goal target weight. The thing is, if you say I want to lose 4 kilos in 28 days and you lose it in 12 days, you're going to feel mint. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't want to set yourself.
Yeah. So if you then do a kilo a week, is probably possible. Yeah. What have you put?
Every week you give me in terms of percentage of body fat.
I wouldn't.
0.25.
You're not going to probably record your body fat every week. Yeah. So your body fat is obviously going to be at the start and the end. So that's not going to be something you're going to have to worry about on a weekly basis. It's more going to be. But you can guess if my body weight is coming down, my body fat percentage is going down as well. So they're directly correlated. So if one's coming down, the other's coming down and goes from there. Oh, I thought you said cheeks then. No, cheeks are coming down.
Without obviously you've got your goal, which is the great part, but you need to take action. So what are going to be your action steps?
Yeah. So for myself and Donna, it's not weekend binging.
That's exactly
Yeah.
Friday night comes around now, just
Yeah. Tago Bob, we said how farewell. We said farewell to it last night. What? We still have cheesecake, yes. Yeah. Little things like that, smaller plates. We tried. We tried to fill it up, but you couldn't. Yeah. If you get really extreme, get blue plates. Blue is an appetite suppressant, so it puts you off eating. Yeah. Yeah.
and don't think about it as an extreme diet, it's not, is it?
No.
You'll only feel.
It's that change in lifestyle. It's that sustainability afterwards, and I'm going. Instead of wise person one. On a high box. What have you said, Keelan, yourself? Eat less chocolate.
So an action step for people who do like a lot of chocolate, you don't keep it in the house, isn't it? Because if you've got it, you will go for it.
I'll try living with my birthday. Say no to that.
We have that problem, but it's the other way around. Is Donna buys it and I eat it.
She buys it and eats it, and then I'm like, oh, I feel
Go on then, yeah, go on then. Yeah.
She just needs to lose weight, and that's the issue, because she doesn't put weight on. It kills me. It was alright until she moved in.
It was alright till she moved in. Get back out. You'll have to go like student living, get your own fridge and stuff like that. So as we're doing that then, guys, so we'll move on. So like I say, we're just going to give you a little bit of education as well. And the first thing we're going to start with is carbs. Now, a lot of people say carbs are the enemy, and it's what we hear quite a lot. A lot of people, when they're losing weight, reduce and cut out carbs as a way of doing it. In terms of calories per macro, carbs aren't even the worst. So when people say carbs are the things that make you fat, it's not. It's just an overall diet. What we tend to find is we tend to associate carbs with fattier foods. So if we think about, we take a potato, we fry it, yeah? We make it unhealthy. We add unhealthy fats to it. So we take something that's actually really nutritious and then we soak it in unhealthy fats. So carbohydrates are going to make up around about 40% of our diet. So quite a large amount. Fibre is going to be the main carbohydrate that's going to keep us full. And it's what you found in your fruits, your veggies, and your whole grains. Nice and simple. After exercise is normally the best time to get your carbohydrates in. Now, there's all this thing about should it be within half an hour, within an hour. As long as you're not waiting 2-3 hours after exercise to have that meal or that snack, then you should be absolutely fine. If we can get that within an hour, that would be absolutely perfect. That's because we're going to have a hyper or higher glycemic foods. After exercise, your blood sugar levels drop, and it's them foods that are going to supplement and come up. That's why after exercise, I know for myself, I always crave something like fizzy pop because my blood sugar drops. So stuff like that, after exercise, for me, I crave a fizzy pop every single time. Then we're going to try to avoid excess use of artificial sweeteners. Stevia is probably the gold standard for what's available. It's a more natural form of a non-calorie sweetener, and it comes from a plant. So if we're having lots of cup of teas in a day with sugar in, try and replace that for sweeteners would be a good step. And if we can then go from sweeteners to like stevia sweeteners or stevia sugar, even better.
Does that mean no Diet Coke?
Yeah, it's the sweeteners and that in it. Yeah, not the worst because technically they have no calories in it, but in terms of what else is in it and blood sugar levels and everything like that, then it starts to thing. What? Yeah, we can still have 1 or 2 a day, as long as we're not drinking an excessive amount. You know, if we have an excessive amount of Coke, Diet Coke, Coke Zero, then that's going to play mental with our blood sugar levels, spike it, bring it down when we want nice and balanced throughout the day. 1 or 2 as a little change of taste will actually work, and then putting fruit in water as well. So putting whole fruit in water, not necessarily cordial, although cordial not that bad. If we can put whole fruit in there, that'll natural there. They're your more natural sugars to bring that back. And then, like it says on the presentation, a little bit different types of sugars. So agave. It's awful, that, isn't it? It's just it should have an I in it, shouldn't it? No. Honey, raw sugar, sugar cane, dextrose, maltose. Sugar is sugar in our body, and if we don't burn it off, that's what turns to fat. So as long as we're exercising, natural sugars and keep them to a good level. Oh, I've done that, double jumped. So our favourable carbohydrates are obviously those that are low in sugar, high in fibre, non-starch vegetables, broccoli, carrots, asparagus, cauliflower, our good stuff. You know it's good for you because you don't want to eat it. That's why Donna's smiling. Then they're going to be our half plate vegetables. So when we come on to the plate method, that'll make a little bit more sense. Then our quarter plate carbohydrates are going to be the high in starch and the more complex carbohydrates. They'll be the ones that you're more used to. Your rices, your brown rice, your sweet potato, your white potato, peas, and your vegetables, as well as stuff like quinoa, oatmeal and beans. Then your fruits, like strawberries, apples, pears and blueberries, everything like that. Then your moderation carbohydrates, so the stuff that's still good for you, but we shouldn't really eat too many of them. Rice cakes, fingerling potatoes, which is more of our white potato. Ezekiel bread, white bread type stuff. Bananas, grapes and melons. Just stuff that's a little bit higher in sugar, a little bit more sweeter. They're the stuff that we want to kind of keep in moderation. Then, protein. So protein regulates body function and aids our hormone regulations. This is probably the most important thing in terms of keeping ourselves feeling full and on track. So the protein is going to comprise of around about 30% of your diet. It includes your essential amino acids, so we need to get them in as well. They can be found in our meat, eggs, yogurts, cheeses, and then we go on to our sources of protein. So our lean meats, our top choices are always going to be our fish, our skinless chicken breasts, turkey, egg whites. It says on here, legumes. Legumes. Beans, is that what it is? I never heard of it. Then our medium fat meat, again could be in moderation. Cheese, dark chicken, so more like the thighs and the legs, that sort of thing. Sirloin steak, and then large eggs, so where the fat's brought back into it. So think about your lean meats as your fat-free kind of meats, and then your medium fat meats, we're bringing that back in. Then your high fat meats, so your full fat dairy, most of your red meat, bacon, and then anything fried, as you can imagine. As soon as we fry something, we're putting loads of fats in it, so anything like that. Then we go on our fats. This is going to make up the other 30%, and we're going to go for healthy sources for our fats, so nuts and seeds and good quality oil. We're going to limit our saturated fats and stay away from our trans fats. Now, if I say that to you, you're probably a little bit confused, but actually, if you think about it, you know, most people know what fats they need to stay away from. Just going to do that. We're going to increase our omega-3 intake. That's going to come from olive oil, good quality oil, stuff like flax seeds and chia seeds, and then a lot of it will come from our fish as well. Excuse me. Then our healthy fats. So, avocado, nuts, our nut butter, seeds, coconut oil, olive oil, and then we're going to try and limit butter, fried foods, too much baked goods, and stuff like chips. Like I said, chips, fried and deep fried fat, baked goods, loads of butter in there. So the stuff that we're trying to avoid that much. So then we're going to come on to a little bit on about reshaping your plate and the plate method. So mainly is going to be hydration as well. So like we say, we went back to that 2 litres of water per day at the start. We're going to try and keep a regulated choice of fluids. What we want to do is aid our digestion and weight loss by having proper hydration in there. So water is obviously going to be our best option because it contains absolutely nothing. But then, like I say, we can add pieces of fruit or fruit or vegetables. So lemon, lime, cucumber. What we want to try and stay away from is our sodas, our juices, and our sweet teas, just because they tend to be loaded with them sugars. Then, reshaping our plate in terms of proteins, our lean cuts, chicken, turkey, and fish, always going to be the best. And then we're going to add for what added fats we add while cooking. So we're going to try alternating cooking methods such as grilling, baking, or broiling. Broiling is just like boiling. Just simply as that. Take away from frying or anything that involves too much oils and fats added on. And then dairy products can add saturated fats and calories to our diet. So we'll try and keep dairy as minimum as we can. So unfortunately, people who love cheese like me, a little bit of an issue. Right. And then we're going to load up on our whole foods. So whole grains, fruits and vegetables, providing the fibre, the vitamins, the minerals that the body needs. Real food should be the goal all the way through. So even if you go out for dinner, if you go to a restaurant, look for something that's a little bit more real. We don't want to be looking for chips, parmos, stuff that's made and fried, unfortunately. If we're going out for dinner, steak, sweet potato. You know, if you look on the menu, you know what's been processed and what's not good. We want them real solid foods. Good cuts of meat, simple cuts of meat, and a nice load of vegetables. One thing, just straying off a little bit, when we go out to eat, is a lot of people are scared to change stuff on the menu. So if a restaurant, if it says steak and chips, but they serve jacket potatoes as well, you'll probably find if you ask for steak and jacket potatoes, they'll do it for you. Because if it's on the menu, they'll stock that item. Okay, some places might be a little bit arsey, but if you, for instance, if you didn't want steak and chips or steak and sweet potato fries, ask for a steak and jacket potato. Ask for something else that's on that menu that's a little bit healthier to go with your main. If it's on that menu, they're stocking it, they're serving it, they shouldn't have a problem with changing your order that bit.
And the customer is always right.
Exactly. If they say no, you just threaten to give them a bad complaint, don't you? Just, you know, no, I'm not that guy. No, but bad food. Oh. If you ever give me bad food, I just don't go back ever again.
Same.
One bad experience, and I'm out. And then fibre. So fibre helps us stay full, regulates and aids in the lowering of cholesterol levels. We all know what fibre is good for as well. It's our digestion, going to the toilet, unfortunately. And then obviously you're going to watch out for them sugars. So many processed foods has loads of hidden sugars in. We're going to be aware of these foods that are marketed as healthy. You'll see them all the time, granola bars and fruit juices. What we also see now is a lot of stuff marketed as high protein. Now, if you read on the back, high protein will probably only contain about 5 grams of protein. Now, in the grand scheme of things, that's not high protein. So if you ever see any of these snack bars, Mars bar, I think have a high protein Mars bar, and I think it may contain like 6 grams of protein. Now, that's not high protein, but they can put it on there and they can sell it and they'll bump the price up for you. Instead of having that Mars bar, you could literally have one of our RX bars, 22 grams of protein. Now, that's high protein. That's the type of stuff you want to be looking for. So just be wary of when you see stuff that's got high protein. Have a read on the back. If it hasn't got more than 15, 20 grams of protein, it's not going to fill you. It's not going to have that same effect. If you think in the grand scheme of things, you're probably going to be eating 150 grams of protein or more a day, a high protein 5 gram Mars bar is just a drop in the water of that. So that's something else to avoid and have a look at, as well as that healthy tag. And then we're going to avoid the processed junk. So if you ever go shopping, when we go into marketing, that middle aisle that you walk down that joins everything, that's got all our sales on. If we can, that's where we want to avoid. So what they say is stick to the outsides of the shops. Now, markets have got clever now and they took the fruit and veg from being around the outside to put it in the middle. So now your fruit and veg is in the middle next to your dairies. So what's advert is obviously, for instance, if we take Tesco down here, fruit and veg, get your lean meats and just don't bother with the rest of the shop. It's that rest of the shop, if we don't need to go down it, we shouldn't be going down it. We see people walk up and down the aisles. You're smiling because you do it. Donna walks up and down every single aisle, and if she doesn't need it, she still buys it because she's seen it. If we're in there, just go down the aisles that we need to go down. There's no point going down the rest and giving into that temptation, because that's when we're going to start to put that more processed and junk food in there. And then checking ingredient labels, just have a look what's on the back. If you ever question it, just have a quick look at the back. More often than not, have a look at the per serving guide and then how much is in it, because that's where a lot of people will get caught out. So they'll say maybe 150 grams per serving, but that bar might be 3 servings worth. So when you add that up, that skyrockets that up. So just be aware of that as well. You don't have to be clued in and really read the labels that much, but if you ever question yourself, just take 2 minutes to have a quick read. People might look at you a little bit funny, but who cares? You're probably never going to see them again, are you? Just that 2 minutes just to go through.
And that's a great poster, isn't it? No one's probably taken read that poster on there.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you say at the top. Food doesn't have labels, products have labels.
There you go. So it just goes back to that eating that whole food, that whole real food. So to help a little bit as we start along, we've got that plate method, and this is where your 3-compartment containers come into that a little bit. So all it is going to be how our plate should potentially look. So half of our plate should be them non-starchy vegetables. So the broccoli, cauliflower and asparagus, that's the large compartment that you got. Then our lean proteins, chicken breast, fish, turkey, and then quarter of that plate is going to be that complex carbohydrate. So your sweet potato, brown rice, butternut squash, that sort of thing. So your largest container, that'll be your non-starchy vegetables. Then your next largest, that's going to be your carbohydrates, then your lean proteins. Or swap them over, depending what's going to fit in what. If you're ever worried, like I say, just divide it on your plate like a child. There's nothing wrong with putting your veggies down one side of your plate, your carbs in one bit, and your protein in the other. I do it at home. That's how we do it at home. And then you can see yourself, and it just gives you a little visual representation. If you then put your plate in them compartments and you see that your carbohydrates are miles higher than they should be, you'll know either just to take a little bit off, or have I got too little protein? Do I need to balance that out? And it's just a little visual aid of how you can do that. And then we're going to move on to the meal plan next. So you'll all have, or had a look at the meal plan, you'll see this little guide at the back. So your food options guide. Now the challenge comes with 4 weeks of meal plans, and interpreting how we're going to use this plan is going to be the key to success. So you'll see on the meal plan itself that there's ranges in terms of carbohydrates and proteins, so how many grams you should be eating. For women, we're going to look to stay to the lower part if you're looking to lose weight. If you're looking to improve performance, gain some muscle, you should be looking at the mid-range. The mid-range is also where men looking to lose weight should be. Men looking to improve performance should be at the top end. So I think the majority of us here are going to be about that weight loss. For you gents, it's going to be that middle part. So if it's 180 to 220 grams of rice, bang smack in the middle, 200. Ladies, it's going to be that 180 grams, round about there. Majority of the recipes will be found on the Healthy Steps Nutrition website and ours. So just go through our website. Most of the recipes on there, and they're all hyperlinked anyway. So if you're ever looking at it on your phone, you've got your plan up on your phone, you can just click the hyperlink and it'll bring the recipe straight up, and then you can work from there. And then obviously, as much as you've got the meal plan, we're going to ask you to log your food as well. So even if you're sticking to that meal plan all the way through, we're going to ask you to log your food. That's just going to be good practice for when you go further on in the thing. We'll also reward people when we see you log in. So every time you log something in MyFitnessPal, that'll come through to us. We can see who's logging, keeping up to date. And it'll just give you an awareness as well of how many calories are in stuff and the macro breakdown and everything like that. But you'll see on our food options guide that we've got stuff kind of like grouped together, basically. What that means is, for instance, I know that one of the lunches on the meal plan is venison. Now, I don't think anyone in here has probably got access to venison or wants to make it for the lunch. So, if we have a look, we can see the venison's in that lean mean meat project. From there, we could then pick anything else in there. So, for instance, if we weren't having venison, we could have our chicken breast. We could have goat if we really wanted. We could have turkey breast, reindeer. Just different options in there. What that means is, if you ever look at a recipe and, for instance, you don't like that protein or you're not too keen on that carbohydrate, use this kind of like map to change it. So if you don't like peppers, feel free to change it for onions. Or if you don't like aubergine, change it for bok choy. Use this to make the meal plan suit you the best. So even though it's on the meal plan, if you don't like it, don't force it down you. Use this food options guide to then just pick another option where that one is. It'll then just help you put a little variety in there. As of the meal plan, you'll notice you'll have a different breakfast and lunch option every single day. Now, if you're like me, you've not got the opportunity to cook a different breakfast or lunch option or stock that much stuff in your fridge as well. What I would recommend is look through the plan, pick 1 or 2 breakfasts, make them and stick to them for the week, and then for lunches, just pick 1 lunch. Make 1 lunch, have it 5 times. Have that Monday to Friday, do a little bit of meal prep on a Sunday, and it'll keep in your fridge. So just pick 1 lunch and stick to it, and then just experiment going through them, rather than having 5 different lunches every day. On Saturday and Sunday, you'll have that more time available, so then you can go home and you can cook yourself a nicer lunch. You can spend some time cooking. But as for during the week, I would just pick 1 lunch option, the one that takes our fancy the most. Go through all the recipes, have a look, see which one takes your fancy. Make that, dish that up, just get yourself some little Tupperware containers. It'll keep for a week in the fridge, absolutely no problem. Same as your snacks. A lot of the snacks are the same. The snacks can all be made on a Sunday and will keep for 5 to 7 days. A lot of people get a little bit and ahhing about how long you can keep food for. As long as it's sealed in the fridge, you can probably eat cooked chicken a week later. If you think about the cooked chicken that's on your shelf in the supermarket, it's there for a lot longer than what you're going to keep it in your fridge. So don't be scared to just keep it in your fridge, have it there after a week and just throw it away. Up to a week, you're absolutely fine. Yeah.
Do we need to be specific to say like 60 grams?
So it's good to weigh, yeah. So we're going to ask you, you're going to be asked to weigh anyway, the food. Eventually you'll get to like eyeballing it. It also gives you the option in there for cups, which is quite an American thing. But if you do any baking, you'll get like, you can get, it'll say 1 cup, half a cup. So you can actually just use them. So if you've got any baking apparatus or just plastic ones, you could just put your rice in there, put that on your plate, and measure it that way, rather than putting some plate on the scales and measuring it out. A good thing with measuring is though it's going to give you the awareness. So if you've never measured food before, you might think you're only eating a small amount of, say, pasta or rice. Actually, when you put that on the plate, that portion might be a lot larger, or in some cases a lot smaller. So it's a good thing to do is measure it. But like I say, if you can get that cup thing, that's a quicker way of doing it. Yeah. Yeah, we have little plastic ones that's like quarter cup, half cup, full cup. And you can just put your cooked stuff in there and then put it down, put that through the dishwasher, and you're done. And then that keeps you under control and keeps it nice and steady, doesn't it? So that's a good way of doing it.
If you want some cups that pick them up, buy local wholesalers, I'd probably get them for less than a couple of quid for a full set. If you want to do that.
And that's just a quick, easy way of doing it. Like I say, it's a lot easier. And it feels a bit weird at the first. So the first 2 weeks, you'll probably measure everything out. But then as you go along, you'll learn to eyeball stuff, and you'll learn to know. So you'll know yourself how much is a cup. And if you're using the same plates every day, you kind of know how much room each thing takes up. Like say that plate method type thing, you'll know how much room each takes up. If one's taken up a little bit more one day, you might think, oh well, I might put a little bit too much on there. But that's not a problem. It's just a good thing to do.
So when we're sending it across to you, do you want this?
So in MyFitnessPal, as soon as you put in MyFitnessPal, so if you put in any ingredients in and you scan the barcode, it'll normally give you 1 serving. You can change that to then be 1 cup in MyFitnessPal, or you can change it to grams. So you can change that as well. So if you log it in there, then you don't ever have to send anything to us. That'll automatically come over as long as you're synced up.
Do we need to log all our vegetables?
Vegetables, not so much. No, there's very minimal in there. If you want to log your vegetables, that'll be good, because it's good practice and to see what there is. But because, well, obviously you start your vegetables, so your potatoes, stuff like that. Your so your greeny stuff like your broccoli, your cauliflower, your carrots. Don't really worry too much about weighing them out. There's not going to be many calories in that. Just make sure you've got a good portion on your plate. Make sure half your plate is them vegetables. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it records everything. As well as that, if you search Healthy Steps Nutrition on MyFitnessPal, they've got loads of stuff already logged. So they've already got the stuff like the barbecue chicken already logged, and the panko breaded chicken, that's already logged. So as long as you use the same as them, you can put that in and that's there. And as well as all the snacks. So as long as you just search Healthy Steps Nutrition, put a space in between each one, their full menu will come up. And you can find that dead easy. Then, like we say, little bit of meal prepping. And it's an important aspect, more so for those that work 9 to 5. If you don't have the opportunity, what we tend to find is we just go for a sandwich. And a sandwich will end up becoming like a bacon sandwich, and then a sandwich, and then so forth. So meal prepping just keeps us accountable. It basically stops us from delving into anything unhealthy. If we've got a meal prepared there, we know we can eat it. So try doing it on a Sunday, probably the best thing to do it. I'll be doing my meal prep this Sunday. I'll record it and send it all over to you guys. I can probably get 10 meals done within an hour or two without really concentrating that much. It's just having the understanding of knowing what you can put on, leave, walk away, let cool down, and do it in order. It's one of them things, the more you do it, the quicker it becomes, the better you become. Your stuff like your vegetables and that, you can just turn on, walk off, or do something else. Excuse me. Easiest way to do it, get your stuff like, if we've got like instant pots, crock pots, or slow cookers, containers, any muffin tins, anything like that, anything just to make it more streamlined and convenient, and then just go from there. And then, like I say, if you don't mind having the same thing, make 5 of the same lunches. We're lucky because there's 2 of us, so we make 10, and that means we can alternate between us. But if need be, we just have 5 each, and we just do it that way. Yeah, yeah. Just different sauces, different spices. You can have that little play about. If you're recording and tracking it, then you'll develop that understanding as well. So have a play about, see what you like, see what recipes take your fancy, whether you're going to make 2 of them, 3 of them, or if you want to make all 5, and then go from there. I think a lot of people don't mind on lunches, because it's just your lunch at work, it's like a necessity. Evening meals, keep them varied. If you can, try and cook every evening meal nice and fresh. That's when you want to spend your time really getting into it and spending that time in the kitchen. or just buy frozen veg. Frozen veg is sometimes better than the fresh veg, and that's what we tend to take a lot of granted. Your frozen veg is taken out the ground, washed and frozen instantly. It has to be done. If you have a look at any of the food standards around frozen veg, you'll know how quickly it goes from being out the ground to packaged and sealed, and there is nothing wrong with that.
It's got more nutrients.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Don't we not hear when it says things like oatmeal cooked with protein powder, for example?
mhm.
If you cook oats, you're supposed to cook them in water. Or
Yeah, yeah. It'll say anyway. Is that the thingy? Does it have a? It'll be hyperlinked. So,
one cup of oats cooked with 1 scoop of protein.
yeah,
And that's it. That's all it says. So
yeah, it will be. If not, just check their website. If it's got a recipe attached to it, check their website and go through it. I'll get that chased up for you.
No, I
Like,
just wanted to know that's all.
That'd be a
Yeah.
clickable link.
yeah, we want the clickable links. That's what I mean. It'll be one of them hyperlinks we can go into. If it's the oatmeal, it'll be one of their recipes, so we can go into that and have a look at that.
Sorry.
Then obviously consistency, we nodded it at the start, so trying to eat every 3 hours if we can, just to keep them blood sugar levels as stable as possible. If we can't eat every 3 hours, try setting a timer, just as a little reminder. If you can't set a timer, just make sure you've got something available, so if you know you're busy for a good 5 hours, that after them 5 hours then you can grab something to eat. There is nothing worse than doing them 5 hours and having nothing prepared. So if you know you can't eat for the next 5 hours, have a snack, have a meal ready, so when you come out the other end, there's something there and you're not tempted to then go for that chocolate bar, that pack of crisps, or anything like that. Yeah, you love the egg muffins. And then, like I say, always pair a protein and a carbohydrate. Naturally, they'll come with fats. So they'll come naturally with fats. So don't worry too much about putting too much fats in. But if you want a little bit of avocado or something like that, a few nuts, throw them in there as well. And then, like I say, it says on there, if you're not a morning person, so for instance, if you were training at 6 o'clock in the morning, that's when we would look at something like smoothies or Greek yogurts, because just consuming a full meal before we train at 6 o'clock in the morning could be a little bit harsh. That's when we need to go to liquids. And even if you're not someone who enjoys eating on the morning, smoothies, protein shake, something really simple, just liquidy that we can either drink in the car or consume over 2 hours or over an hour, just means we're still getting them calories in, we're still getting a meal in that way. And then on the road, bring snacks with you. Take coolers if you've got a lunch in the car. Have a safe place to go. So if you do know you're going out, or if you're going somewhere and you know you're going to go out for dinner, so if you're working away, have a look online. You might be able to have a look, see what restaurants are available that are a little bit more healthier. If not, if you know you're going to a set restaurant for work, have a look on the menu. Now, there's nothing wrong with planning ahead. If I know I'm going up to Scotland with Donna and we're going to go eat at anywhere, if we're going to go eat at Your Sushi, I know that I can have a quick look on their menu, pick the healthier stuff, and stick to that when I go out. It's just that having that planning and that awareness as you go ahead. Then, hydration, like I say, it's going to come back to this all the time. You'll see it on the meal plan. Every single meal has water attached to it. That's just to keep you going. Sean's straight into it already. That's just a little nod and a little cue, so when you look at your meal plan, you know to have a little bit of water with that. It does need it for every metabolic function that we go through, lubricates our joints, helps with weight loss and improves performance. Especially coming into the summer months in here, we want to make sure we're eating plenty, because you just dehydrate quickly out here. And then, like I say, try and infuse it with fresh fruit, mint, cucumber, that sort of thing. We posted a blog, I think, did we put up the hydration blog? Yeah, so on the hydration blog that we put up, there's a little thing about making your own sports drink, and you're probably wondering why that salt's on the top. Add a little bit of salt to your water. Them Lucozades you can make just by using some full sugar juice, some water and a good pinch of salt. That's all your Lucozade drinks are, and you can make them yourself. But like I say, a lot of the people in here you'll see just add salt to the water, and that's just aiding with that hydration. Alcohol. Yeah. Sean, your head popped up there. I don't know why. So just be mindful of what you're mixing your drinks with. Like I say, we don't want to be dead restrictive and say you can't drink for 28 days. If you can go 28 days without drinking, perfect. You'll notice a massive change. You'll notice a huge difference. But just be mindful of what we're having with it. So if we're having fruity cocktails, if we're having Jack Daniels and full fat Coke, just be aware of the amount of calories that are going in there. If we can have stuff, we want to stick to white spirits, and we want to stick to your sugar-free, fat-free, and even if they've got low sugar juices. So stuff like vodka cranberry juice, vodka diet lemon lemonade, gin and tonic, there you go. Or even just with a little bit of water, so if you just like vodka on the rocks, vodka and ice, soda and water, that's it. Just little things like that. And then, like I say, the closer you stick to the meal plan, so less alcohol you consume will be better results. Alcohol just increases our recovery time and then decreases your body's ability to rebuild muscle. So if we go out for a big drink on a Saturday night, that's why it takes us till Tuesday for us to feel like we can do anything, or even if we come in Monday, we feel like we're still half out of it. And then, like I say, try to stick with 1 glass of wine, light beer, mix with water, club soda, and then drink water in between beverages. Have you heard the thing about getting rid of a hangover? So when you're hungover, it's 2 things: salt deficiency and dehydration, because you get dehydrated. So if you're out drinking and you're on a big session, every, say, 2 pints, have a pint of water with it. It'll do wonders for your hangover. Or at the end of the night, drink loads of water. That's not the best, because you might need to go to the toilet, and if you're intoxicated and need to go to the toilet, you might not get out of the bed. No. That is not, luckily enough, but I know a lot of guys that have done that. But if we're out on a big session, we are on a big drink, just mix some water in there, get a little bit of water in there, get something salty if we can at the end of the night that isn't salt on your palm. Or try and get something a little bit healthier, chicken kebab, put a little bit of salt on there. If you get anything, get a little bit of salad, put some salt on your salad. It sounds awful, but it actually just makes it just taste that a little bit nicer. It'll also help with that dehydration. Bring it up. And then, so eating around our workouts, like I said, those that are working out in the morning, proteins and carbs, protein shake, liquids, smoothies, digest faster, a lot easier for us to get down. Best protein, whey over soy. You'll see it now, there's a million different types of proteins that you can buy. Just stick to your whey isolate. It's the simplest, it's the cheapest, it's the most effective. After that, they just start putting the price on to put fancy words on. Obviously soy, if you've got any intolerances or anything like that.
And again, less ingredients for that.
Yeah. So less is more, so find ones that are not loaded with artificial ingredients. So your proteins where they put extra words on because they put extra ingredients on. This now includes BCAAs and all sorts. It's not needed. Keep it simple. Stick to that whey isolate. Yeah, we stock loads. All natural, that one, isn't it? All natural protein. Yeah, so you can't argue with that. Same as our RX bars. For those that have ever had an RX bar, you'll see on the front it has 4 things on it. No BS, and then 3 other ingredients. Again, everyone knows what them ingredients are. They're simple. We know it's good whole food. If we look at some of our other protein bars, you read the back, it's got everything in. So just a little look at that. Like I say, if you look at the back and you don't understand what's on there, it's probably got some sort of not whole foods in there. And then carbs and protein after our workout. And then, like I say, protein shakes mixed with water, applesauce, protein shakes mixed with coconut milk. Protein shakes with normal milk is absolutely fine as well. Gets in there. One of the best post-workout things to have is actually chocolate milk. Don't know why, but it's been proven it's one of the best things to have. I wouldn't recommend it because it's got loads of calories, but chocolate milk is one of the best post-workout drinks to have. Just got to be careful because if it's full with sugar and full of all the calories. There you go. Just make your own. Then for our coffee drinkers, everyone's got like a few Costa coffee New Starbucks mugs around here. And then it's just obviously being aware what's in our specialty coffees. Starbucks Mocha Frappuccino, 54 grams of sugar, 15 grams of fat. It says Dunkin' Donuts on here, but we can look at our costs as that sort of thing. The half-life of coffee, 8 to 12 hours. So if you're affected by bad sleep, trying to avoid that after a certain time, probably after 2 p.m. is going to be best for yourself. Yeah, 2 p.m. If it doesn't affect your sleep that much, you're okay to have a coffee. I know for myself, I'm an all right sleeper and I sometimes have caffeine quite late. But if it started to affect my sleep, I know that'd be the thing that I'd knock on the head straight away. So it's just having that awareness of your body, that understanding. We can say don't have caffeine after 2 p.m, but if you need it to get through the last 3 hours of work and you've got a big important meeting that you need to be sharp for, you need to do it. Just be aware of how it's affecting you and how it's affecting your sleep. And then, like I say, try adding a little bit of almond milk instead of cream and sugar, so cream being the American milk. So just a little bit of almond milk, and then drink early in the day, or just try and regulate yourself down to 1 or 2 cups. And then, like I say, that comes on to our sleep. So you need at least 6 hours sleep each night. Sleep deprivation affects our hormones, so leptin, ghrelin, and cortisol. Then the more tired we are, the less satisfied we are, the more that we eat, the less happy we are with what we're eating, the more stress that we get. So getting an appropriate amount of sleep will help your body recover. You've seen Ben walk around with his blue light glasses. Brilliant for if you need to switch off at night. Most phones will have a blue light filter on it. All modern phones have that. I suggest putting that on. What that means is as soon as the room gets dark, it'll put a blue light filter on. It means we're not glaring as much. So if we are using our phone in bed, it makes it less intrusive. If we can stop using our phone in bed, brilliant. If we can turn them off 15, 20 minutes before we're meant to go to sleep, turn them off. If we can try and get into a regulated sleep cycle as well, if we go to bed at a certain time and wake up at a certain time, that's the best thing we can do. Just being aware of your sleep and how it's going to affect you, and then just them little steps that we can take to improve that.
Blue light will delay your melatonin, which is sleep on by 4 hours. So if you're looking at your phone just before bed, then you're not going to sleep for another 4 hours probably.
Yeah. Not only that, if we're looking at our phone before bed and we see something that doesn't annoys us, we're just going to sit there stewing over it for the next half an hour. So sometimes it's best not to check, or if we are checking, try it with, why are you laughing at me? So if we are sitting and using our phone before bed, try and get a Kindle, get a book, watch something, watch a little program, little music. There's all the apps nowadays to help you fall asleep. Try and avoid social media 10, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour before bed, because like I say, if we do catch something that is going to piss us off, we will then put our phone down, stew over it. I can imagine 20 seconds later, you'll pick your phone back up, check the comments, probably click off the comments, put the phone down, try and go back to sleep, get annoyed 10 minutes later that you don't know what's going on, check the comments, and we'll just do that for the next 2 hours until eventually our body says, that's enough, I'm going to make you go to sleep now, in which case we are then not going to get a good, effective sleep. Alright guys, and then like I say, picking a winner from the start. Winner's not going to be picked on the person who loses the most weight or body fat percentage, but it's going to be that whole inclusive thing. Weekly winners for those that are tracking well, that have made good progress, that are getting in here, that are getting active, that are talking about it and helping others, and then we'll have that grand prize for that bigger winner as well.
Be proactive in the group as well. Encourage each other as well.
Yeah. Like I say, if you don't want to ever post a message in front of the whole group, you can just send it to ourselves. The group messages will all come through your app. So there's no need for us to set up any Facebook Messenger groups or WhatsApp groups, because we probably have too many anyway to begin with. So it'll all come through your app and we can just message each other through there. All right, guys?
You need to open up your MyFitnessPal as well.
Yeah. Just track them again, just link them together. That's absolutely fine.
So you're going to get some informational videos there as well?
Yeah. So there's videos already in there from HSN, so the guys who run the program, and our tutors and our mentors. So you'll see free videos probably every Monday, free videos every Sunday. So have a look over them. They're only a couple of minutes long. The woman who does the videos is actually the owner of the company, so she's very hands-on. get stuck in there. She's done tutoring and mentoring with us, so it's not like she's a big CEO of a company that doesn't ever get involved. Yeah, and yeah, she's a registered dietitian and as well as other amounts. There we go. Apart from that, it's just any questions.
You initial the little boxes and then sign.
Does it start, like, are we going to start at Monday?
So your plan starts Monday.
Like, just to give
Yeah. Right. So I plan on so yes, technically the 28-day challenge starts Monday. However, you know, just be a little bit cautious over the next 2 days that we don't have a massive blowout, because that'll just have a little negative effect. Yeah. Yeah. What you probably find is going into the first week, tomorrow's going to be when you do your own meal prep. So if anything, tomorrow's when you're going to wake up motivated and ready to go. So if you're going to have something a little bit naughty, maybe have it tonight, wake up tomorrow, know that you've got to do your meal prep, know that you then can start your healthy eating. So wake up tomorrow, motivated, good to go, and then in the right mindset for Monday. Because
I feel prejudged, but I was just thinking something start cooking.
yeah,
Yeah, and
that's
try
absolutely.
I'm going to finish in 28 days and then binge.
Yeah.
This is not a diet.
Yeah, so this is just the starting steps. Obviously, as we go through this process, we'll speak to you guys about ongoing support. So for those that want to continue past the 28 days and go on to ongoing nutritional coaches and work with us on more of a one-to-one basis, in which case, on a more one basis, we can look at, in more detail, your goals. We can be more specific, your macros. We can look at all the fancy stuff like carb cycling. Are you eating enough protein? We can tie that in a little bit to your exercise. Are you eating enough? Are you exercising enough? So that's going to be on for there.
This one's nice and basic, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is just your basic 28 days to get you through, and then from there we're going to expand and grow. All right, guys? Sorted.